Hello and welcome to another devotional connection. I want to read something to you today. It's from 2 Kings chapter 2, verses 13 through 15, and it reads like this. Elisha picked up Elijah's cloak, which had fallen when he was taken up. Then Elisha returned to the bank of the Jordan River. He struck the water with Elijah's cloak and cried out, "Where is the Lord, the God of Elijah?" And then the river divided, and Elisha went across. When the group of prophets from Jericho saw from a distance what happened, they claimed, "Elijah's spirit rests upon Elisha," and they went to meet him and bowed to the ground before him. Elijah was taken up, and Elisha continued on the work. It's an amazing thing for me to think about the life we live as Christians and what God has done with those who came before us and what God has told us about the future of what's going to happen on this planet. It's amazing to me because though different generations have come and gone, God's plans and purposes have continued on using person after person after person. So often in our humanity, we wonder what's going to happen with our plans, what's going to happen with our destiny, what's going to happen with our position that we've attained, what's going to happen with the future generations, what's going to happen with our people. And yet every single instance in the Bible, God kept his plans in motion. And isn't that the plans that we all should be striving to achieve, striving to push towards? Sometimes we get into the mindset that we're in control, and we're not. We're not in any way, shape, or form ready to assume control. The truth of the matter is, it's God's plans that we need to be focused on, and he will determine who the next in charge is, who the next in line is, and who comes after. Elijah was a prophet of power and promise, and yet Elisha had double the power that Elijah did placed upon him. And the work never stopped. It just continued. When Moses' time was done, God was already raising up another leader, empowering another leader, having him stand up in a completely different experience than what Moses had, and yet the people of God moved on. The Old Testament calls him the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, three different generations of men, and yet God was still the guiding force through it all. His plans were still in motion. And what plans were those? Go to Ephesians chapter 1. God's plan was to have us with him for eternity, adopted into the family as sons and daughters, holy and blameless before his eyes. That was the plan that he set into motion in Christ before the foundation of the world. And now that the foundation of the world has been put into place and we are here, his plans and his purposes will continue towards the end. Should you take on the mantle of a follower of Christ, you must realize that you are in line, you are in position. You now are calling on God to use you to fulfill his purposes, his plans. Don't worry about what happens next. He's got that. Worry about what you're doing with the time that he's given you, the plans that he's given you, the purpose that he's called you to. Fulfill that. He's got what comes next. Talk to you again soon.